CBS and Paramount was the last place I thought they were going to go.
Oh my God.
I didn't have that in my.
No.
I didn't have it anywhere on my.
Wasn't anywhere in my atmosphere.
No, nothing.
I thought it was going to be Netflix. I really did.
Yeah. So they've had this opportunity twice now to have a promotion, and have them on CBS, have them on Paramount, and have them do all these things, and they never capitalized. Now there's been a changing at the top of the regime, and Larry's son David is now running this thing, or kind of figureheading this situation. And he thought this was a great investment. I think it is a great investment.
I think he's right.
I think he's absolutely right. Like I read somewhere where they need to get 6 million new subscribers on Paramount, which is extremely doable now that you have the UFC on there. I think it's very doable, John. I think it's very doable.
It's not they have to get 6 million new subscribers. What they have to do is get even subscribers that they have now to pay the additional price that's going to be put onto it to watch the UFC. So you can have those plus new ones coming in. So, I mean, as you're saying, is it doable? Sure. It's doable, but they're going to have to work their asses off to do it. But that's why you take these chances.
What do you mean by, you've lost me. What do you mean that they're going to have to get more? I already know they got to get the subscribers. What else are they going to do? They're keeping everything as where it's at right now, is from what I understand.
You have subscribers already to Paramount. Right. They're going to be on Paramount. They're going to be on CBS, CBS as far as their main channel. They're also going to possibly have shows on CBS Sports.
Mm-hmm.
But Paramount is a pay platform already, and they have subscribers who have paid for Paramount. The price might go up if you're going to be able to see the UFC. They're going to have to keep those subscribers.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to slap them with some big,
not a huge thing. No.
Yeah. No. I don't think they're going to slap them. And I think if you're going to slap them up a little bit more with an extra charge, an extra $2.99, whatever it is they're paying.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure exactly what the number. I've read 3 or 4 different numbers now. I heard it was $4.99, then I heard it was $9.99, then I heard it was $12.99. I mean, I've heard everything. I don't have Paramount now, but I'm obviously going to get it now because we got to watch the fights. But I will say this.
Luckily, I'm one of those subscribers already, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I'm just laughing because I saw this meme that basically said all the crack stream and Russian streams and all that, they're probably looking at them like an ex-girlfriend now. They're like, damn, they're all gone. They're like, you watch them pass by. You watch all the people that used to use those crack streams and all the other ones, right? Like they're gone now. Those guys are gone. You just lost millions of people that use your platform.
That's part of the reason that this whole thing came about, though, too. That was a big part.
Well, I mean, John, let's be honest. It's not a dead model unless you have a really great product. But I just don't think it's not the model that it originally was. When it was killing it for boxing, it was killing it for MMA. Like everyone was making money. This was one thing that I saw. A friend of mine posted this, said UFC is receiving $25.5 million per event. Says in only broadcasting revenue. So that's only in broadcasting revenue for the next 7 years. 25% labor rate would be allocated around $6.3 million to fighters per card. So that kind of gives them about $6.3 million per card. And that's not counting any of the other things, like what they make at the gate, what the merchandise purchase is when they sell stuff, and sponsorships come in. Yeah. So whatever business they're already getting for the broadcasting revenue, $25.5 million per event. And so that pretty much allocates, when you cut everything else with the labor rates and everything else, it leaves about $6.3 million for the fighters. That just for the fighters. That's not counting. That's great. That's good money.
That's good money.
I mean, you're not getting even the gate. The gates make what now? About 21 to 22 million. It's kind of anywhere between, say, 18, 16, somewhere in there, all the way up to 22 million, I think is the highest, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Well, the thing that you've seen fighters come out saying it, and a lot of fans are asking questions about, but what happens? I know that they get pay-per-view points. What's going to happen with that? And it's like, are they going to get pay-per-view? No, they're not on pay-per-view. But similar to what has happened in the past, although the UFC doesn't come out and say it, they have compensated fighters that have gone on to, we'll say, when Fox first came out and they did Fox, trust me, the fighters that were in the main event, they got compensated. There was no pay-per-view, but they definitely got compensated by the company for the loss of that pay-per-view. So do I think that the UFC is going to do the fighters right in this? Yeah, they're going to take care of the fighters. The ones that are bringing, putting butts in seats and bringing the eyeballs, they're going to make a lot of money.
This is huge, man. I mean, like I've been reading online a ton about all the negative shit. I'm like, this is such a big deal. And let's be honest, CBS and Paramount was the last place I thought they were going to go.
Oh my God.
I didn't have that in my
No.
I didn't have it anywhere on my
wasn't anywhere in my atmosphere.
No, nothing.
I thought it was gonna be Netflix. I really did.
Yeah.
Plus,
I honestly
plus a couple others.
Yeah. I thought they were gonna kind of spread it. I thought they'd keep some of the prelims maybe or Dana White Contender Series on ESPN, which
they
is
still
not included in this.
I was gonna say they still have the Dana White Contender Series that can go anywhere.
Yep.
They still have Tough.
Yep.
That can go anywhere. They now have the UFC BJJ that they can put places. There's other stuff that they can put out there.
Yeah, they've got plenty of content to put. I also thought this was a pretty slick move. What they did was it had everyone thinking that they were going to go to ESPN because the WWE now is on ESPN, right, Dave?
Yep.
No, WWE's. Oh, they're moving there. Yeah.
2026.
Yeah, so they're moving there, and so I thought, well, then that just is setting right up for the UFC to step right in. But then I started realizing, like, man, how much money are they paying the WWE?
Yeah.
And then you turn around and you go, okay, well, is it going to be worth generating? Is it going to generate enough money for you to have both of them on there and to keep moving forward? That's the thing without crushing your system. So then you go basically with them, the UFC, and you go, where are you going to go?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? That's when I started hearing, when I saw WWE sign, that's when I started hearing that they were kind of done with ESPN and Netflix had kind of been out of the loop, but I didn't know anywhere else they were going to go. I was thinking Amazon Prime.
Well, you heard what Netflix's big complaint was. They didn't want the Apex shows.
Yeah.
They did not want any of those. And that was a big breaking up of the whole thing was, and they've talked about, making the Apex, I've heard anywhere between 2,000 to 10,000. So it could be anywhere, but increasing and making a stadium out of it. They're going to do it. Hunter Campbell's going to be a guy. He's a kind of guy. He'll make that happen. But, they didn't want those shows. Now those have been actually some really good shows. It's just that the atmosphere is not there. And what you're seeing on the camera doesn't look near as good as when you have that arena that is packed with people and they're going crazy. Yeah,
I heard it's going to be 5,000 to 12,000. They haven't quite figured out the.
Yeah, you heard 5 to 12. I heard anywhere between 2 to 10 is what I was told, and now it's 5 to 12. Okay.
Yeah, I heard somewhere in between 5 and 12. I mean, it'll be interesting. They own the building. I heard they own the property, so they can do whatever the hell they want there, which is great. John, I think there's a lot of positives to take away from this. Gives the fighters a lot more exposure, which means that they have a lot more opportunities to make money outside of the cage. And that's one of the most difficult things to do right now because you can't market any of your stuff inside the cage. But if more people see you and you become more of a familiar face, then you can make more money in sponsorship outside of the cage. Whether it's with gym businesses, whether it's with, car companies or whatever it is, apparel, colognes, it doesn't matter. Making yourself more available, making yourself more available to the public for them to start to follow you and become a fan of you, then that gives you an opportunity to make more money.
Yeah, whether you are Dana said that they're going to do 4 shows on CBS, in the first year. That's big. They did the whole thing with ABC, but that was kind of a mix with ABC and ESPN because you could see it on either broadcast. But the whole thing going to CBS, that's going to be a big thing for him. But he also did say, but this doesn't mean that the pay-per-view model is completely gone. That's like, oh, we want more money.
You want to hop into that? I've got.
What is that?
Well, so here, let me just bring it up for the viewers. Dana White said. So first of all, this guy, Mark Shapiro, TKO CEO, the pay-per-view model is a thing of the past. What's on pay-per-view? What's on pay-per-view anymore? Boxing, movies on DirecTV. It's an outdated, antiquated model. So it was Paramount to us. Forgive the pun, where it's one-stop shopping, especially for your younger fans in flyover states. When they find out, wait, if I just sign up for $12.99 a month, I'm going to automatically get UFC's numbered fights and the rest of the portfolio. That's a message we want to amplify. But then Dana comes out separately and says,
Boom.
a fight will pop up that I never saw coming. A star will pop up out of somewhere. Anything is possible, and you could do a one-off pay-per-view. I'm going to be on pay-per-view this Saturday. Pay-per-view is not dead.
Yeah, look, I think like there's things that you possibly are going to have access to. Like you're going to put, if you have the CBS show, you're going to probably have that on for the White House show. Sorry, you're going to probably have that on CBS. There will be events though where they'll probably try to knock it out of the park. They may try to match up all these guys that are, the number, the champ, 2 title fights possibly, and then like number 2 versus number 3, number 3 versus number 4, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like there might be a card that they can slap together. Be like, hey, we're going to charge $100 a pay-per-view for this one. And, they're not going to put that on CBS. And look, I don't have a problem with that. As much as like, I don't have a problem with that. Like I'm a huge fan of this sport. John, I know you are, shit. We even got Podcast Dave watching this fucking sport all the time these days now. How much we started to love this sport after all this time of, giving my blood, sweat, and tears to it. You all the traveling all around the world, and Podcast Dave listened to us for almost 10 years now. Like he's been suffering his
poor bastard.
Probably poor bastard. But let's be honest, this move is a fantastic move. I'm excited for it. I know there's tons of media going, well, what about the fighters and this and that? Look, it's up to the fighters. Let's talk about this. The fighters. This is an opportunity. If the fighters were ever going to do something, this is the time to say, well, we can sit this one out. Like we deserve we see that the numbers are 7.7 billion. And I'm not trying to be salty, but if the fighters were ever going to do it, knowing that they're getting paid 7.7 billion, 1.1 or whatever billion per year for this at $25.5 million per show, that should tell you something. That's not counting the gate. That's not counting anything else. And you guys should know that there's more money available for you guys to make. Now, I mean, we can sit here and say that
that's up to the managers to get it.
It is. It absolutely is. Or it's up to the fighters to say, well, we can actually sit this one out until you guys decide to pay us, which none of them will, because the top ones are like, I'm not going to piss them off. And I'm like,
no freaking way.
I understand that. And I've said this for the longest time. It's going to have to take the champions to do it. And the champions at the moment, when you're the champion, that's the least likeliness of you guys doing it. They will not do it when they are the champion. The last thing they want to do is
their moment to make money.
Yeah. And they don't want to piss the UFC off at that moment.